Hey guys, okay, today we're going to remove a door panel off a Lexus GX460. It looks pretty easy, but it's kind of not. There's a lot of hidden screws and hidden panels and plastic clips all over the place, and if you don't know what you're doing, you're probably going to end up cracking a corner somewhere. So let me show you what I'm going to start with. First things first, I always have my handy Makita Phillips screwdriver, okay? You don't need a power one, you could use a hand one. There's only going to be a couple of screws in here that you're going to need to take off. And I'm going to show you my favorite Harbor Freight tools. All these are panel removal tools. They're all made out of plastic, polyurethane, whatever, tongue depressors, and they're all plastic. Great for taking off panels where you don't want to cut into your leather or your plastic, okay? And this one right here is one of those knob removers, and I'll show you what this one is used for after I take off my door panel. Okay, so let's get started. Anything that you want to do, you want to start off with the easiest piece first. Okay, so let's pick out one of these, one of my favorite ones, this tongue depressor right here. I'm going to take off this piece right here. Just stick it in there with your fingernails and open it up, pry it open. There's two clips right here and there's two holes that it goes into. Okay, let's take off that one first, set it aside. Next, you want to take off this light. Just pry into one of the creases to remove the light. You're going to want to unplug the light, okay? Set the light aside. Let's flip this over so we don't scratch it. There you go. Okay, next thing's next. Okay, you want to take off this plastic panel right here, okay? Take off this plastic panel, just put in your tongue depressor right behind here, and the whole thing should pop out very easily. There you go, right? It's all clips right there, right? ABS plastic. There you go. Next thing's next. You want to take this off. Take your tongue depressor and slide it underneath one of the creases right here, and just pry it up. Just pry it up. It comes right off. Have you noticed there's two clips right here? They go into these two slots. Let's unplug it by pushing on the tab right here and releasing it. There you go. Let's tuck it inside there so we don't drag it later on. Set this aside. Next thing's next, you're going to want to take off this piece right here, this armrest piece right here, and the best thing to do is stick it inside one of these creases, right, and pry up. Be careful not to dig into the leather. There you go. Once you pry it open, you can see the clips right here, 1, 2, and all these go inside these slots right here. Okay, no screws or anything. All right, let's set it aside for a little bit there. Okay, so next thing's next. You're going to want to take your Phillips screwdriver and unscrew where your armrest used to be. Okay, remove that screw. It's going to be a long screw right there. Let's set it aside. Let's not lose it. Okay, there's going to be one screw right here behind your door panel. Let's remove that. And let's organize. Let's put this where the door handle panel is supposed to be, right there, and let's put this screw where the armrest is supposed to be, just so we don't get lost a little later on. Okay, so right now, if you look, there are no more screws attached to this thing. What you want to do is you're going to want to take the most widest panel remover you got here, because the next one is going to be prying this open. Okay, you're going to try to find an opening along here somewhere, and there usually is right here behind the light. You're going to put your plastic panel removal tool and pry it open, and it's going to snap open. Just keep going along the whole periphery of the whole thing until it snaps open. Make sure you got all the snaps out. Okay, there you go, you got all the snaps out. Okay, now this thing hangs on a ledge. It hangs on a ledge, so what you're going to want to do, you don't want to pry open, you're going to want to lift up. So take the whole entire door, using your knee to help you along, pry upward. Okay, pry upward. Now, once you've got it open, you're going to notice it's going to be held on by two cables. Come on around here. It's going to be held on by two cables. You're going to see this green cable, take it out of its home, and you're going to see this white cable, take it out of its home. Just remember that the green one goes on the bottom and the white one goes on the top. When you put it back, you're going to want to put the green one back inside of its little home right there. There's a little ball home right there. It goes inside the ball home, and then it snaps. This part right here snaps back in there, just like that. Okay, same thing with the white one. when you put it back, it's going to go inside its little ball home right there, and you're going to bring it back, and there's a crease inside this white mount right here. Okay, once you put it inside the ball, you're going to want to put it back inside its home, just like that. Okay, just like that. That's for when we put the door panels back on. Okay, you got one more plug right here. You see this plug right here? You're going to want to press on the tab and release it. Okay, just remember where all the tabs went. Okay, all right, so let's take a look at it right now. You got a plug right here, you got a plug right here, and you got a plug right here. When the door goes back, you got 2 cables and you got 2 screws, and that's the whole entire door. Okay, right now you're gonna thank me a little later, but I'm gonna show you a little secret right here. Instead of next time when you put the door panels back on, you're not going to want to put it on its clip anymore. That's the hard way. You're going to want to release this piece right here. This piece comes off with tabs, and I'll show you. This is a little shortcut right here. Release the tabs. There, see these tabs right here, all 4 of them go inside these slots. Okay, so instead of putting it back over its lip, you might want to take this whole entire thing off right here and stick it on here, right? Stick it on here. There's a little channel right here that goes on to your metal lip right here. You want to stick it on there, okay? You can't make any mistake going backward or forward because it's a perfect fit, okay? Take your fist, bump it down just like that, okay? So whenever you're ready to put the door panels back on, all you have to do is just take this whole entire door panel and just pop it that way. You don't have to wiggle around any kind of lips and stuff like that. It's just one direction, okay? And this is how you remove the door panel. In case you want to work on the door motors or any other things that you need to work on. You need to replace the speakers, okay? Anybody that needs to replace the speakers and upgrade it to something else. There's a whole array of issues that you might want to replace this. You might just get a rip or a tear in your leather or your plastic somewhere, and you want to take this door panel off and reupholster it, okay? So that's another issue that you might want to need to remove the door panels. Okay, so remember how I told you there's this door panel, this tool. It's in Harbor Freight. You can buy this at Harbor Freight also. And this is the reason why I bought this, okay? So sometimes when you remove these panels, these little door thingies, they kind of get stuck. You know what I'm talking about, right? The whole door comes off and then this thing gets left behind. And there's no way to take it off, because if you try to take it off, this whole entire plastic might get brittle and break off. So this is good right here. It slides into just like that, see? Just like that. And it helps you pop it off. Let me see if I can do it right here. Just like that, look at that, see? Okay, so you take it off, you put it back on your door, you make sure your entire door has all its clips and everything, all right? Make sure all your door has all its clips, and we're good to go to put it back. Let's see, what else, anything else? And that's about it. So just remember, reverse the process, putting the door panels back on. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the door panels back on right now, so it should be a pretty easy process. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to line up the door where the cables are going to go, okay? Make sure you remember where all your plugs are, because these plugs are going to have to go through its proper slots, or else they're going to get stuck between the door panels and the door itself, and you won't be able to reach it, okay? So first things first, go ahead and take this plug it back in right here, this small plug. Okay, you got that plug. This one doesn't go in until your window switches come on, and so you should leave it in the slot right there. Okay, remember that plug down there that goes where your light is? Make sure it's extended all the way down so you can reach it a little later. Okay, so here you go. So what I'm talking about. This is probably the most challenging part, and it's not that hard, guys. Okay, remember how you have to memorize that the green one goes on the bottom, or else you're going to try to be pulling the door handle and the door doesn't open. Okay, so the green one goes into this ball slot right here. I don't know if you guys can see the ball slot. Put into the ball slot right there, and then route it until it snaps into its bracket, just like that. Same thing with this. Put it into its little ball slot, okay, and then route it right there. Okay, now make sure it stays in there, because these do pop out. Make sure it stays in there. Now you're going to want to look at this clip right here and look at the slot that it goes in and make sure it lines up, because once you got this one lined up, the rest lines up pretty easily. Okay, so make sure it lines up right there, and go to the second one, make sure it lines up, and the rest should be okay. What you're going to want to do is take your hands, bam, just like that. Okay, now do not snap in the rest. Right now you're going to want to route the rest of the harnesses. Okay, remember this harness, see how I told you it's going to get stuck between the door. Okay, so you want to try to reach for it, and there it is. Keep it out here. Okay, remember the light I told you about? Take the light harness and route it inside its little slot right there. Okay, so you make sure everything's good to go. Okay, make sure nothing's shifted. Now look behind here. What you want to do is you want to look at these plastic plugs right here. They're supposed to line up with the hole. See, the male part goes into the female part. You want to make sure it's lined up, because once you start snapping with your hands like this all over the place, you're going to end up cracking them if they're not aligned properly. So once it's aligned, pretty much the rest are aligned. See up here too, you got one that's going to go inside its hole. You line it up. Now take your hands and your fist, just do this. Just go along the rest of the periphery just like that. You're good. Okay, you want to, now you go back to all your parts. Remember all your parts? Remember the sequence that you took everything off? The next sequence are the screws, right? So you want to take the screws that goes with the door handle section. Let's do that. Okay, so the screw goes right here. Make sure it's lined up with the hole, not too tight. You don't want to break anything. You're going to want to take your plastic part right here, and you want to see so it doesn't go in any specific way. It just snaps straight in. Okay, you don't have to do it this way or this way. It just snaps straight in, just like this. Okay, snap straight in, just like that. The next one, remember how we put a screw right here, and it belongs with your armrest. So next is your armrest. Put the screw in, tight, right? Not too tight. You don't want to over thread it because it is plastic behind there. Okay, make sure all these go in its proper slots. Okay, right there, and it goes downward. It doesn't go inward like this. It goes downward. Snap it into place. You're good to go. Next thing's next. Let's do the lights. Okay, so the light. You plug in the lights. Once you plug in the lights, make sure you push the wires in and you just slide it in just like that. Next thing's next. Let's get your windows. Okay, get your windows. Plug your windows back in just like this. Okay, remember, 2 inserts right there, 2 females right there. It goes straight down. Okay, not out, not sideways. No, just goes straight down just like this. And you don't have to use your fist. Snap it down with your fingers. And the last thing you want to do, and this is probably the easiest part right here, right? So it goes right in here. Use 2 thumbs and you snap around. You're good. You're done. You're done. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Signing out. Bye.